Welcome everybody to the World of Ability Podcast Network. My name is Emily Gulmer and a podcast engineer here. And excited to bring you another episode of the Aspie Bridge Show with Suzanne Plumley that we do here every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central. And I'd love to have you join us. So if you are interested, let us know. Get it taken care of. Also, check out our social media, um, LinkedIn, Facebook groups, and YouTube. And the thing for the doing, I'm going to kick this over to Suzanne to kick us off today.
Well, hello everyone, and thank you for coming back to the Aspie Bridge. This week I have a recording as my guest is very busy on her coaching business today, and so Julie Brezenski will be joining us soon on recording. This is week 8 of 10 steps toward building your dream. It's 10 steps to dream building is the actual title. And we'll be going with week number 8, then we'll have 9 and 10. After that, we'll have 2 special Aspies, autistic individuals, one male, one female, who will tell their story. And then we go right into our De-Stress the Holidays series. So without further ado, I'm going to have Emily set up the recording, and I will see you at the end. Enjoy. Steps to dream building. And I have a special guest for you. She's going to help you to create a bigger believing in yourself. But before I go there, let me tell you the mission of the Aspie Bridge is to help women come out of the neurodiverse forest, come out of shame and victimhood, and understand that there are bridge builders here. You've heard me say that there's Paul Micallef in Australia and Samantha Stein, the Netherlands, Sarah Hendricks in the UK, Temple Grandin here, and so many others. Ryan Kelly, so many others on YouTube who are telling you what the traits of autism are. You don't need another woman who tells you what the traits are. The mission of the Aspie Bridge is to connect individuals who feel like they have been stuck in the neurodivergent forest, feeling ashamed of their diagnosis or victimized by family or society, learn that there is a way to go back into society. With my guests, such as Julie, who you'll meet in a moment, and all the ones who came before her, all the ones who will come after her, I am the connection, the torchbearer who will help you as an Aspie individual who's mostly late diagnosed because we did not get the resources that we needed because we graduated from school long before autism became a part of the school language. I'm here to connect you with these wonderful bridge builders to help you fix a part of your life that you might want to fix. We're not fixing you. We're fixing a part of your life that could become more effective for you to make it through your daily struggles. I also have bridge buddies who are out in society, keeping an eye out for society members that may not treat you appropriately, or they'll call you and invite you for a cup of coffee or to go to a movie. So we have bridge builders who will help you in their zone of expertise. We have bridge buddies who will help you so that you're not sitting at home with your ice cream and your YouTube and your Netflix feeling alone. And we want to help you belong to this life and then have a life you love. That's why we're on the 10 steps of bridge building. This is week 8, build a bigger believing. But before I go any further, let me introduce you to Julie Brezenski. Julie, welcome to the Aspie Bridge. Would you like to introduce yourself today?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Suzanne. I'm so honored and grateful to be here and proud of you for taking this step, because the biggest, once you understand you have a problem, that's, some people say it's the hardest step, but the true hardest step is taking the first step. So I congratulate you for that. You are in fact giving me one of my first steps, because I do want to have a podcast, and it's been one of those ideas that I just couldn't grab, and I believe that those ideas come to us, and it's kind of our job to distill them and filter them. And right now I'm in the car world zone. So if anybody likes to nerd out and go down on words. So we talk about manifesting, how you can bring things into your life. And of course that's positive or negative, right? But with manifesting, what my experience was, I got the thing, and then I hadn't done the designing and the testing of the dream to know that that's what I really wanted. So
it's an important part, yes.
When I got it, which is where we're at now, is the receiving part. You've built your belief, and now you've got to build your belief. Just keep building that muscle. We've been going through this for 8 weeks of the 10 weeks, and it's new information, and you just really have to rinse, cycle, repeat. And that's why I love the community that you've built here, because what I have found for myself, that partner in believing, which is, we may be jumping all over the map here, but when I was willing to take my risk and say, I really believe in this thing, but I don't know what it looks like, because it's feeling loved. And I'm 49 years old, or 47 or 8 years old at the time, telling the man that I met at Alpha Omega, the retreat I went through Brave Thinking. So for all my brave thinkers, we were at Laguna Niguel in August of 2019. And with Rich and Linda and Mary and Joe, and Joe honestly was probably trying to do what we're doing right now in this step, because when I broke my sunglasses, so their grandson was over there trying to screw in my little teeny tiny in my whatever, because it's a family. Our Brave Thinking community is such a beautiful family, so welcoming and graceful, all of them. Well,
Absolutely.
Anyway, so there I was on the veranda or wherever it was, and waiting for him to take care of me, and feeling that whole entire experience at level of fact. I felt like a little girl. I said the words to my dear girl, Angela, one of my angel guides. I said, I still can't believe I'm here. And she says, what do you mean? I said, I'm just a little girl from Nebraska. And in that much of a time, she says to me, she says, Julie, I don't think anybody's ever called you a little anything. And wow, let that one sink in. No one's ever called me a little anything. And that was a positive statement.
Yes.
So the way I experience it, and I hear it, because it's a cycle, these young women, like in their 30s or near 30 motherhood age, are just telling me, I can't say that. I can't tell people how I feel. I can't honor myself first. No, can't do that. Like I have been giving voice to this message since I was 20. You have to secure your own oxygen mask first.
I was just going to say that. Yes.
Yeah. It's the only speech I've ever written and prepared and given, because I'm such a believer, and I'm not justifying or excusing, I'm elaborating on that I just want to speak from the heart, because God has given me so much information, because I'm a sponge. Input is one of my strengths, but that it's like rinse the sponge out and just get it out of me. I'm just the filter. I'm just trying to get the information out. I'm not here to tell you what to do with it, how to do it. I'm here to say, well, when we had this conversation 6 weeks ago, you said you were going to do this by that date. Where are you at with that?
Oh,
No.
and I'm an action taker, so I understand the power of taking action, not just letting it come in, but doing something with it. As I was telling you, Julie, I was born on Burning Desire Day, which meant that I wasn't going to just sit on a stove and just let things sit. When someone gives me an idea, a roadmap, it helps me to know, like all my bridge builders, Julie especially, but many of my bridge builders know a roadmap. If someone is willing to help you with a roadmap on how to make your life better, take it. It's priceless information. Wouldn't you say, Julie?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
We
Yeah.
need that roadmap. We really do. I mean, we know what we love, but we don't always believe that we're deserving of it. We had that talk a couple of weeks ago. Was one of my other guests. Now we're talking about believing. It's one thing to say, I don't know if I deserve it. Now, what you want to do is you want to take that dream and you want to know that you need to believe in yourself. You need to believe that it is possible. And let me tell you, sometimes our imagination can get away with us. And we talked about this. I talked about this last week with the small voice. Don't ever believe it's just your imagination. A thought comes to us not because of our imagination. There's a higher power that brought that thought to us. Now we can embellish it with our imagination, but that initial thought came to us. And when you can believe that that thought was given to you, and it's not just a pie in the sky, I always love that expression, or donkey, unicorn. It's a true belief. It's a true act that was given to you, a true dream that was given to you. And Julie, what can you tell us about an unwavering belief?
The first time that I've had the full experience of this was back in around 2003, when at level of fact, I was infertile and had a history of ectopic pregnancy, had lost one of my fallopian tubes. So every circumstance was telling me that I couldn't have children. My daughter at the time would have been 8 years old because she was born in 96. So she was around 7, I guess, when I became aware of the fact that I have a subconscious mind and that I can override my thoughts. So, I mean, that's basically boil it down to this. I was a size 14. I was needing to move up into the next size. So I was going on a 16. Didn't think I could have kids, but all of a sudden, and I don't know where it came from, that God just gave it to me. Is I have a son. I'm a size 6. I have a son. I didn't even go through the steps because I hadn't met Mary yet. So I wasn't aware of the steps. It's so important that you listen to each one of these steps and remember you may need to repeat the steps, because just like every other thing, we have to build the habit, and we have to just continue working to build the muscle and everything. So again, community is what you need. And I'm so proud for and encouraging and welcoming people here.
Oh.
So anyway, the point is I have a 19-year-old son, and I was a size 6 when he was 10 months old. So because every time I would go to the gym, it would say, I'm a size 6. I have a son. I'm a size 6. I have a son. And then my little brain would say, no, you're not. No, you don't. No, you're not. No, you don't. And I kept doing it, and I felt dumb as dumb can be. And nobody there cared, because guess what? Nobody cares. You would think so. One of my favorite quotes, I do like to talk quotes. One of my favorite quotes was, you wouldn't care so much what other people thought about you if you knew how little they really did.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah.
Like when you're right in front of them, then you matter. But as soon as you're out of their line of sight, buddy, you're gone. And why anybody thinks that it should be any differently, it should not. We are all so busy just trying to get through I'll tell you that the key to success in everything, if you take nothing away from this, but this right now, rhinoceros success. You have one laser focus. Now you can get that laser focus and get it in a week and then change it to another, as we talk about quadrant. It doesn't mean you're going to get the full spectrum. It's going to be exactly in the time that you ordered it, because all you're doing realistically is ordering your thoughts to align with your vision. Because once you align with your vision and this is your intuition, your inner voice that we talked about in the past couple of weeks, your inner spirit guides you. He only has to give you the next step, the very next step. You follow that, you go to the next one. So to bring it back to your action plan, that's the key.
You don't need to know the whole how, you just need the next step. And oftentimes there's a little bit of time between that step that you finish and the next step. I'm in that phase right now where I'm listening to that still small voice that we were talking about last week and saying, what is the next step? There's a part of me that says, write a letter. There's another part of me that says, hold on the letter. So I'm just trying to get clear with that letter of whether or not it's meant to be. But if you listen to your still small voice, it will tell you when. It really will. It's amazing. The next part I'd like to go into is your dream is special to you. Don't just give it to everyone. It's not like a megaphone. Hey, my dream in the world is to create a new group. No, you can be very careful with who you tell that dream to. I know that with my dream that I'm working on right now, it was so special that I definitely had to be very careful on who I told it to, because if I were to tell it to just anybody, I would get so many, really? That's never going to happen. Which is why you need to be very careful with who you can trust. Who you can trust. Now, with me, with all my bridge builders, I have opened up the welcome for them to come on to my podcast. And the ones that resonate with me were the ones I could trust. If they didn't want to come on my podcast, they didn't see the value of it, value of me. And that meant that I couldn't tell everyone about my dream. So you need to really guard who you tell your dream to. What do you think, Julie? Do you have a dream that you've been very careful not to tell? Oh, let me just say one more thing before I ask Julie. I know way back in around April, Mark Maynard and I were talking about the 4 quadrants. You really want to pick just one quadrant to work on. Really. And Mary, our mentor, says to us, if you jump around from quadrant to quadrant, making each one more important, it's like trying to cook eggs on your stove and keep moving them to a different burner. How well are your eggs going to cook if you move it from one to the back to the next? Your eggs aren't going to cook. That's the same thing with your dream. If you say, I'm going to start with a relationship dream, oh, but I want time and money freedom. Oh, but I want my health and well-being. Oh, wait, you really want to concentrate on a catalytic dream, because your other dreams will start to fall into place as you gain confidence with that first catalytic dream. For me, I'm working on relationships right now. That is the one that is going to help all my other dreams work out. All right, Julie, go for it. I just wanted to add in about that one catalytic dream.
Well, I think it's the law of specificity too. That's the phrase I'm in right now, because I have just for so long, I want the big dream, right? And I believe that we can talk in the big dream because it's not that big. It's 64 people in 3 years. And since the person I partner with in my business is not a dream builder, and I've tried to share with her, I've experienced all that level of frustration that you're talking about. So wishing I could go back in the Wayback Machine and have learned that lesson 5 years ago when it was taught to me. So, but again, I believe all things happen for a reason in their own time. So it took me 5 years to learn that lesson. the next are going to come like bing, 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 bing. So, but yeah, the catalytic dream, the one that you five sensorize, and the one that you can literally be that person as, so that's building that sense of belief because you're doing it daily, so that when the occasion arrives, that the $10,000 check appears in the mail, and you haven't seen $10,000 in 9 months altogether, and all of a sudden you've got this check, and you just checked your ACHs, and you're getting, this is, it's finally real. It's $3,500 to $4,500 in a 4-week pay cycle, whatever. Can I show you how to do that in 90 days? I sure can. But are you the person that can actually realistically do it? I don't know. Let's have a conversation. And that's literally how I build my business, is I just invite people to have conversations. And if something I say resonates with you, then we're going to go forward with that. And if nothing I say resonates with you, then we'll probably never talk again. But we sure enjoyed that hour. And then that's going to, again, I believe I'm the catalyst. I love that you're the instigator and you're the torch bearer. I'm the one that says, why can't you do that? I don't see the reason why you can't. In fact, here's how you can't. So I can actually, because I have strategic, activator, input, achiever, and connectedness are my strengths. But they can't be utilized unless I'm using them for somebody else. So I'm my own kryptonite. So we can, once we've identified it, right, I can write it down and say, how do I get out of my own way? It's not true that I'm my own kryptonite. I am my own best cheerleader. My mother is actually right now, believe it or not. I'm like, I just need to bring my mommy with me.
There you go. It's interesting.
Only to half of the things though.
Oh. It's interesting you use kryptonite. I've been using that word a lot lately, and we tend to be stuck in our labels sometimes. And I don't like to call them labels. I like to call them explanations of behavior. And I like to say that we wear a cloak of whatever we feel we are. So I wear a cloak of autism, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. And my kryptonite is having people who don't believe that I'm as worthy or as big as my dream allows me to be. They question whether or not, well, what money you're going to do that with, or how are you going to do that? And it's like, it doesn't matter. My kryptonite is people don't believing that I'm worthy of my dream, even when I do. So I think up until now, of course.
Oh no, I'm going to give you the opposite view of that.
Yeah, well,
so that's the other thing I do. I want to see both sides of that, because I'm over here going, it's a 360 view, right? That's one thing. So one more of the 358 that remain, it could be this. Those people who don't believe in you, what if there's something in your spirit that right now, like if you go back to your inner teen, right? If you access your inner teen, you probably had the rebellion. You think I can't do that? Just watch me. Tell me I can't. I'll show you how I can. Because that's the skill that we had to develop to cope. Like I'll go back into my childhood. I was identified as, high ability learner in 5th grade. I also was involved in choir and singing. So music is definitely powerful. If you've got people anywhere on the spectrum, music therapy is huge. If you're in my area, I'm going to give a shout out to Mosaic. Melindy Gablehouse is the new one of their program directors, or ED. So I apologize, I don't have her title down, but she's an amazing advocate. We were talking about music therapy.
It is.
And I definitely want to be a buddy and a bridge builder and just watch this go, because when you say kryptonite, I believe it's actually your invitation.
Oh, that's interesting.
The paradigm that I'm hearing when you say it is disbelief. And you can't have your belief because they don't believe, but we all know that what other people think of you is none of your business. And what I just shared, to bring it back here because it's important, what other people think of you is none of your business.
Right.
If you
Oh,
if
yeah.
you knew how little they think of you, you would never concern yourself with what they think anyway.
That's true. And oftentimes, and I know this is very big in the Aspie and trauma worlds that I know I have circled in, is people pleasing. No, I have learned in the last 5 years that people pleasing doesn't serve anyone, because as soon as you people please, they want more, and they want more of you, and they want more of you. And pretty soon you become so little. So I want to tell you that the only person you need to please from now on is you. It's you, seriously, because
Yeah.
if you keep going on the people pleasing and the codependency and thinking that you're going to get better because people are finally going to acknowledge you, they're going to acknowledge you the same way as they did last week. And there's nothing you can do if they're not on the same wavelength as you. Keep going with your dream. Don't let them stop you. Don't let their opinion of you stop, because that's what building bigger believing is all about. What is a partner in believing, Julie? Can you tell us a little bit more about a partner in believing?
Well, for me, it began with the Brave Thinking Institute. And again, being in the Facebook community and somebody just putting it out. Well, Mary was, of course, our very first partner in believing. We all have the $2 bill, which mine is in hiding. It's in a very protected place right now. The fairies can bring it back if I can find it. It's great. But it's just a reminder. And again, her story is so beautiful and wonderful about how she began her journey. And, we'll go into it later, what my personal story, how she reached out to me by throwing me a lifeline on an email. So, well, I guess the first thing is the people that you want to share your dream with are the ones who will cheer you on. And most possibly, if you can find a mentor, somebody who's already done the thing, maybe that person doesn't exist. I know when I met one of my best friends, Sherry, she wrote my resume for me, and she says, the job that you're applying for doesn't exist. I'm like, doesn't matter. So I wanted sales and I wanted marketing. And I had just got on the board. So if you're looking for an action step, think about joining a board. That's power. There's power in doing that. And the next thing I know, their position is open for the programs director. And it was exactly what I wanted to do, but not sales. It's asking for donations. So I have always myself, just to kind of rabbit hole and finish this up here. I love asking for other people for help, but man, when it comes to me and telling somebody what I need and what I want and what I would like, I'm turning the corner where I finally can do that, and being able to receive and welcome in the change, because change is scary and change is hard. But change is also beautiful and change is wonderful. If you allow it, when you get into the flow,
yes,
you just have to allow it.
A lot of people think that risk is not good. Risk is probably the one thing that's going to move you forward in life. I'm about to come up against my own risk right now. Does it scare me? Yes, but that means the dream is that much stronger because you're willing to go after it. And having that partner in believing who will say, yes, this is the way to go. I believe in you. Maybe try this to make it easier, but they won't tell you what to do in so much as you have to follow, but they'll give you the next step of the roadmap. Just like when someone's giving you GPS directions. Oh, by the way, there's a detour here. Take this direction. It's just extra advice so you know what's in your surroundings. Because sometimes, even with our intuition, it's nice to know someone else has a little bit more information to support what you're receiving. And that's a big thing. Don't tell your intuition goodbye. No, that's the first step. But it is nice to have someone like Julie who will be here to say, I like that idea, and here's what else I might try. It just adds cushion to the direction you're going into. What do you think, Julie?
Oh,
Yeah?
so many good things in what you just said. I was just trying to take it all in. So
it is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people say we should mother ourselves or whatever the expression is, and I don't think there's anything wrong with getting feedback or getting a little bit more assurance, because sometimes it might help you to not misstep or fall into the pothole, as Opie and I were talking about the very first week, which is we want to help you to stay away from the potholes, yes, but you're still going to go in the same direction. And that's a big thing. Someone who believes in you. Tell me, Julie, have you found that your partner in believing has helped you wash away your doubt, worry, and fear? Like I was just talking about, which is for me, sometimes I think that my imagination is getting ahead of me, and I don't understand that it's actually my intuition. So if I think that it's my imagination, sometimes worry and fear will get the best of me, but a partner in believing will help that. What do you think about that?
Oh, I love that, just challenging the idea, because again, I'm in a new experience where I'm just going to so many different avenues to start to experience life. I'm just, my viewpoint is opening. But challenging every thought that comes into your head. And again, in the brave thinking, the first step is notice what you're noticing. Is it expansive or constrictive? But then what are you going to do about it? Like, I can recall a time when I was in a social setting and somebody was having an inappropriate conversation and I was being triggered by it. And because they were talking about a subject that should have never been discussed at a public place with strangers.
Yeah.
Like we were ultimate strangers. We just met at this networking convention 2 hours ago, and now we're trying to unwind and just be social. And he doesn't understand social cues.
Oh, right.
And I wasn't aware of my own ability to either say, hey, how about them Huskers? And just take the conversation away from, because everybody was just doing this.
Oh, that can be a little awkward, yeah.
Like, this is really happy. And they weren't, I'm sure they weren't, but I just finally got up and went to the bathroom. I'm like, okay, I literally can physically move myself.
Yeah.
When I go back to the control what you can control, right? So when the thoughts come in, challenge them when you feel they're constrictive. Obviously, if it's feeling good to you, you should never challenge that. Just go with that. You probably won't even notice it because you'll just be going with it.
It will feel good.
Well, and I can recall, even while I was learning these tips and these coping skills the first time, I walked out of the room and they had given us, I'm like you, I'm the rule follower. So they gave us the instruction. There's 1,000 people in this room. There's 25 restaurants. You guys got to get in and out like cattle, right? So go in, get your table, order your drinks, order your food, and tell them to bring the check with the food, right?
Mm-hmm.
And get in groups of 4. Well, he didn't say groups of 3 or 4, and he didn't say groups of 4 or 5. He said 4. And when I'm going down the escalator, like literally just left the training, we've been doing this immersion therapy, right, for 3 hours on the first day. I'm in the front row because I paid good money to be in the front row. And I'm doing this on the edge of my seat because I didn't feel like I was even worthy to be in the room, because all of that doubt and all of that disbelief, no partner in believing. First of all, I couldn't have had a partner in believing because I didn't know what it was yet.
Yes.
But that is the possibility that that's the only way you can get out of that. But I don't believe you will. You have to be aware of it. We've already talked about befriending your fear. You just do this step regardless of your feelings. But you do have to notice it and challenging it and bringing it, write it down, take the power away from it by writing it down and releasing it. And then if you've already done the press pause, and we probably don't even do that, but we talk about the 72-hour delay. if you're experiencing a feeling about an event that happened to you, that you can't dismiss the event. We're not here to say this isn't what's really happening. No, it's just not, I agree with the circumstance. So again, when I said I could have a son, but circumstance said, no, I can't. I said, yes, I want this. And then I heard my daughter, to go back to the story and flesh it out, when my daughter asked Santa Claus for baby brother or sister. And I said, you can't pray to Santa for that because Jesus gives babies. Just talking to an 8-year-old or 9-year-old. And so his date of conception was approximately December 15th. Oh. So it would have been right around that it was Christmas time when we had the conversation, clearly, if she was talking to Santa Claus. But
that's like planting the seeds into a source that can help out. So, that was her channel of getting her wishes met.
Yep, and she got a baby brother.
There we go. So, you having someone who believes in you to say, you know what, fear isn't always bad. Worry, well, we got to think about that a little bit more. We got to press that pause button on the worry and not worry about that. Wait 3 days is what our mentor says to us. Don't worry about the worry right now. And the doubt, if you believe it, that's all that matters. Just as Julie
It'll
said.
It'll prevail. Yeah. Stay consistent, stay the course, keep the focus on, keep in the support system of the people. And again, I will tell you, I know that is a mistake I made. I was freely willing to tell anybody that would listen. And I'm really willing to give my nuggets because I do believe this is God's kingdom. I'm not operating for actual earned income here. I have other avenues that I can earn money in. And I'm just in a season right now of being the fertilizer and, sprinkling the fairy dust. Empowerment. I think empowerment is the word for me right now. And it's empowering me to actually take the next step in my other business that I've been afraid to take. So yeah, I fully understand. And I love what you also, I'm going to go back to it because I don't think I addressed it. Focusing, because when I was in Crystal City at that first Dream Builder Live, I'm like, in all 4 of the quadrants, I was at about a 2, maybe a 3.
That's where I was at that same time. Yeah.
I wanted to say, you were just there 6 months before me. So our experience, we came into this at exactly the same 12-month period.
Exactly.
But my sense of ability to even comprehend that I was worthy of any of this has taken me all 5 of these years. It's been taking my entire life, but who cares? Because the next 25 years are going to be so amazing. Like, I will forget the first 50 years because I'm so focused on where these next 25 are going. Now, because I am very faith-driven and I believe, as a Christian, I believe Jesus died for my sins and heaven is mine. But I also believe heaven is what you make of it. So why do I have to wait for the time period of heaven? Why can't I have it now? And this is what I'm experiencing and encouraging others to, whatever your belief is, because for too long, I have just believed what everybody told me. And it doesn't always serve.
We do have to have our own beliefs, so that's true. And that's what I talk about on the podcast is whomever you believe your higher power is, God, the universe, the infinite, whatever it is, just know that you're not breathing your own heart. And breathing your own breath. You're not beating your own heart. There is another source out there. You can even call a source. There is another source that created you. But that same source is the same source that lets you know there are other possibilities. And there's not just one way to get there. And you will be led in a direction toward that possibility. Now, let's just say that you have I really want to do this, but I'm not sure exactly what it's going to look like. There are so many different possibilities out there that you got to get a little bit more specified. As Julie said, you got to really narrow it down. What do you want about that? What is the most important part about that? And so now you go back to your notice what you're noticing. Well, now that you say that, this is what I want it to look like. And I want it to look like that because my longing is to have it this way, but my discontent is I've been dealing with life and this looking like this for so long, it has to change. And that's where your longing comes from. Your longing pretty much aims right towards your dream because you can't have a longing without a dream coming right after it. And then you say to yourself, let's test the dream. Is it good for me? Am I going to grow? Well, absolutely. But there are other possibilities that you need to really look at. And do you need help from a higher power? Can you do it by yourself? Can you bring that dream about by yourself? That's what Chris Barber and I were talking about. No, you do need a higher power. So, Julie, tell me about some of the different possibilities that you've looked at in your life as we wrap this up.
Oh, the big dream right now is building my Market America team. I'm looking for 2 key individuals to help me manage my distribution and growth. We're in 9 countries now. The company is 32 years old, and I have such a heart to reach out to anybody, anywhere. We can do everything via Zoom. So whether you're in, I prefer to work with people in the United States, but I don't mind Canada because I think I can understand that language.
Oh, I know that feeling. So your possibility is looking at all different kinds of people to see who will best resonate with the company that you're growing.
Well, and how can I help them? Can I help them as a business partner? Can I help them as a life coach? Or can I help them just as an individual? And now you're giving me another opportunity to just partner and bring a little bit of a structured friendship, because right now I'm following Simon Sinek, and he's such a wonderful thought leader that just encourages me. And I don't know if you guys are doing these tiny homes. They're doing tiny homes here.
Oh my gosh, tiny homes, you are speaking my language. That is the direction I am headed into.
I figured you would be.
Yes, exactly. Speaking about the enrichment center I told you about earlier, I found this adorable tiny home that was log cabin on the outside. So yes, tiny homes, you bet.
Nice. Yeah, they're building them for people who are recently out of the prison system. So when you've had a felony, and they came to our Rotary group, I've become more involved in Rotary lately, and there's so many great nonprofits, and I'm very proud of you for doing yours. And
thank you.
And I can't remember, what state or city are you in?
I'm in Texas right now. Right now.
Oh, that's right. But you're okay. So you're in Texas and you're going to Texas. So you're staying in Texas.
Well, not necessarily. I'm gonna do what my dream allows me to. I almost foraged, as I say the word is, over to Nebraska in the last month, and would have if I didn't have to run back. And if I had known you were there, I would have definitely come see you. So guess what?
Well, now we'll find a reason for you to come down here.
I plan to go to every state, and one of my plans is just let's going back to the tiny homes. Imagine, Julie, this is one of my many possibilities. Imagine with the overcrowdedness of housing, that low-income housing, can you imagine what we could do for autistic women if we opened up communities of tiny homes for them to get them out of the overcrowded, noisy, apartment-style buildings into a tiny home that's no more than 500 square feet, easy for them to take care of, in a community where they have their own space, but a community? Can you imagine what that would do for the housing in this country, if we now opened up a bunch of different tiny home communities for autistic individuals who need their own space, but a community?
Yeah. It's kind of making me feel like where actually my grandmother was. She lived in an area called Fletcher Terrace, there in Grand Island, and it was just basically. It looked like a little strip mall. They were just little singular houses, so like a townhouse condominium, but just like a studio apartment,
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Oh, I so
Love
neat that you brought that up. And that's the beauty of the podcast is the fact that I never know where it's going to go, but the possibilities are right open. And when you get two people together, two or more people together, that's called a mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
So the next time you're working on a problem or you're working toward a dream and you're wondering, how am I going to do this? What am I figuring out in my head? How am I? Drop the how.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the what can I do? But think about joining up with another person, a partner in believing, bouncing ideas off of them, sharing your dreams with someone that you trust, someone that gets you, who you don't have to do a lot of explaining for. And that's where I come in as your coach of autistic women. I help you. I can be your partner in believing, and I can connect you with other women that are on your same wavelength, even closer with common interests. So, what you want to do is when you are starting to say, I am tired of being in this neurodivergent forest, I know there's a life out there for me. Let me get in contact with Suzanne so I can get together with a resource and a partner in believing so that I can go after the dream I want and share the gifts I have in this world with others, because your gifts aren't going to go very far if you stay in the neurodivergent forest. And I want to thank Julie for coming today because this has been such a wonderful conversation. I'd love to have you come back again when I talk about the time and money freedom because, wow, you're going to be great during that section. I'm going to, next year, let me just give you a quick heads up to all of my listeners. Next year, I'm going to be going into what we would call our 4 quadrants of living a life you love. And the first 3 quadrants, the first 3 months of the year are going to be health and well-being. The second quadrant, we're going to go into relationships. The third one will be in money and time freedom, and the fourth one will be in vocational. And each one of those will have a special person who will come in. Bridge builder, maybe someone from the past, set of guests. Some new guests will be coming in as well. But we're all here to help you go after a life you love. And Julie, do you have any final words for today?
Oh, right now I'm going back to Think and Grow Rich, so I'm going to go to that one. If you can think it and believe it, you can achieve it. What the mind of man can conceive and can believe, it can achieve. And I also want to encourage you that it is believe it more than you doubt it, not believe it in replacement of doubt. The doubt will always be there. You just believe a little bit more than you doubt. You just need a 51-49. We do not need it to be 100-0. Just that one little, I love it. She's got the burning desire in the pot and the steam, and I'm expecting that 212. It's just that 1 degree. That exactly. One last breath when you're building a muscle. You always do 2 sets of 10, and on the second, or 3 sets of 10. But it's on that third one, you just give an extra 2. Just what's that one extra step you can be open, be willing to say yes, and go back and remember, why am I doing this?
Exactly.
Fuel the fire.
Absolutely. So
or fan the flames in the embers.
I
don't know why I'm the embers and the flames right now.
I want to thank everyone for coming to the Aspie Bridge. And next week we'll have part 9, which is the overcoming failure. That will be a good one to follow up this one. And next, that's overcoming failure. And then we have just 2 more steps and 10 steps of dream building. But I hope you've enjoyed this series. And next series, we're going to have all about the holidays and helping you de-stress from the holidays. So I hope you come back next week and join us here on the Aspie Bridge. Thank you, Julie, for coming today.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Well, hello everyone, and thank you for watching our recording today with Julie Brezenski. It is such an important step that you start to really realize that you're never going to get rid of fear, doubt, and worry. Push the pause button on worry. Wait 3 days to see if it's still a problem. Also, you can say, is this problem happening now? If it's not happening now, just push it aside, wait 3 days, and then worry about it. Chances are you're going to come up with brand new ideas when you're open to it that will take you further on this bridge and into society where you can have your dream and share your gifts. So I want to say thank you for coming today to the Aspie Bridge. I hope you'll come back next week for week 9. Overcoming failures, because there will be some failures as you go along your path, but don't let them stop you. So in the meantime, I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next week here on the